Hey, 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 welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to talk about, you know, it is now fall. Yesterday was the first day of fall. And I know so many of us are getting back in the swing of things, and we've been talking about goals this week. Um, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about balance and give kind of some viewpoints that I've noticed after going through different seasons of my life now. Gosh, it's, chapter 45 for me. And I can tell you in that many years, you really want to try to find the simplest routes. And a lot of people will tell you that the simple way is the wrong way because it should be hard, it should be difficult. Like the simple way doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily not going to have some obstacles. It really is your perspective. Okay. And so a lot of people may disagree with this. A lot of people are going to think I'm just buku, woohoo crazy. But I just want you to hear me out. Just hear me out for a minute or two, maybe 20, and hear what I have to say about what I've been learning and what's been working and what hasn't been working in my life. And maybe you can relate to it, and maybe you're the opposite and can't. But for those of you who can, this is going to be for you. For those of you who have been questioning it, because I did for a long time. Okay, so first of all, balance is kind of like some people will tell you it's a facade. Like it's not real. It's you'll never have balance. Um, you'll never have stability. Like you're constantly gonna have ups and downs. Life's, blah 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 blah. Like it's always gonna be hard, right? You're gonna hear those negative kind of not so great thoughts. Um, and I'm just here to tell you that I used to have that mindset. I used to truly believe life was hard for me. I used to believe that there was always going to be some kind of a problem, like a problem was waiting around the corner. Like, what was it? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I used to have that kind of a mindset, right? And those thoughts and those beliefs, that belief system hindered me in every area of my life, and I had no idea. And the reason why was because I was speaking that life over those things by those thoughts and those beliefs. And so as soon as I changed the thoughts and changed those beliefs and I flipped them to where good things are always happening for me and I am a magnet to what I want. And I know that if I ask those big, hard questions that I feel like I don't deserve, but I really, really desire them, that God is and the universe is going to align those things to naturally happen. But I have to believe those things. I know today that my truth is everything is easy and effortlessly if I truly desire it to be. And when something comes up like contrast, like something that's an obstacle or an obstruction, right? Where somebody has an objection in my business, or I even have an objection in my life. I need to sit there and look at it for a second and find the perspective and see if it aligns with where I'm headed in my life and in my goals, right? What I desire and what I'm wanting. And if it doesn't, I need to be brave enough to say no. That's where a lot of people say it gets hard. I used to think that if I had to say no to something, that then that was a hard situation. If I had to say no to somebody, that was a hard situation. I wasn't a fan of confrontation. But what I didn't realize was that it doesn't have to be confrontation. I just played it out to be confrontation because I put that image in my head. I put that image into the universe and I put it into the other person's head. So confrontation came because that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was believing would happen. But what changed was I changed the word confrontation to communication. And so when I changed the word confrontation to communication, then I began communicating more effectively with people, and I was able to overcome those obstacles. Now just became contrast. They just became, I know they're going to be there. It's kind of like when you look at the yin and yang symbol, you're going to have both. When you see, the sun and the moon, you're going to have both. It's kind of the same thing. You're going to have one with the other. And so you're going to have the good with the not so good, right? I stopped calling it bad because nothing is bad for me. Everything is for us. And so if you can start realizing that your thoughts and your beliefs really do are a magnet, they really do attract to things to you and people to you. Have you ever um, been sitting there drinking your coffee and you think of somebody, you think of your friend Sally, and you're like, gosh, I wonder how Sally's doing. And I wonder what she's up to. I haven't talked to Sally in a while. And the next thing you know, the phone rings and it's Sally. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't just an oh wow aha moment. That was literally in the universe. You guys aligned. Your energy, your magnets aligned. And you were thinking of Sally and Sally was thinking of you. Boom. Your magnets aligned. Sally made the move and she reacted and she called. You thought about it. You didn't make the phone call, so you didn't take the action behind the thought, but Sally had. So Sally took the action behind the thought. She called you. Now you're connected. And that's things happen like that a lot. So, for instance, I was taking my friend's mom to an appointment this last week and all week long. And she would text me. I kid you not. I would think to myself, I need to call Shirley in a couple of minutes. I need to message her. And I kid you not, she would message me right after I had that thought, like within a minute. And I was like about to literally type her, and she would send me a message. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, that is so cool, right? Like, we're both, and I would tell her every time, I was just about to send you a message. She's great minds think alike. It's the magnet. We were each other's magnet. We were both, it was the thought, right? We were both thinking about the trip. We were both thinking about me going to pick her up. We were both thinking about all of those things, right? And so you never know what magnet you're on, but you can tell. Like, you may not know in the moment, right? You may never know in the moment, especially if it's not something that crosses your mind, right? But the way you can tell is by how you feel. If it's unsettling and it doesn't make you feel good, you truly should not do it. And a lot of people used to tell me that, oh, that's just because you have anxiety and fear, and you'll get over it. You'll get over it. Have you ever heard people say that to you? That they'll say you'll get over it. It's no big deal. But the truth of the matter is it's not aligned with your magnet to your heart goal, like to the goal that's your burning desire that's placed on your heart. And so you're just beating a dead horse, and you're literally it's not aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. And you should be paying attention to your intuitive thoughts and feelings. And you should be those gut feelings that people talk about. That's your intuition. That's your gut feelings. And you should be paying more attention to that because that's what's going to give you more balance. And it's your feelings. So I used to be told that I was too emotional. I actually had people who were coaching me in my life for years. They were coaching me in my life for several years, and they had me believing that I was an emotional creature and that I was too emotional and I needed to simmer it down. I kid you not. And they told me that my story was too big for everybody and that I shared too much. And I just was kind of appalled after I found my life coach and I expressed to her what I had been learning and been told. And she, in fact, told me the opposite. But that appalled feeling left quickly. I didn't, I let it go. I just let it go because she expressed to me that it wouldn't serve me anything or her, or anybody anything. So she told me how to let it go. That was literally just through prayer. I just asked for it to be taken and that be released. And so I gave that to God, that crappy feeling about it, because the truth was that, well, I think we're all told that a lot in society. I think a lot of society tells us we have to buck up and we have to put on this persona of tough people. And tough, it used to be just male focused, you couldn't cry, this and that, don't show you're a wimp, blah, 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 you're a badass, But now I think then the female persona took it on. And then as gender roles have changed over the course of time and just things changing over time, so many people are afraid to express their emotions for fear of judgment, for fear of being hurt, like actually physically, violently hurt. Some people have been unalived because they were open with their feelings and their emotions and being true to themselves. And for a long time for me, I bottled up my feelings. I bottled up my feelings and I expressed myself through other not healthy means. Alcohol, you know, dabbling in trying various different street drugs, so many things, cigarettes, sex. I mean, so many different things. And I struggled. I struggled with addiction because of that lack of being able to express my feelings, because I was afraid I would be misunderstood, because I was misunderstood my entire life, is how I felt. And so, being somebody who felt very misunderstood her whole life, I turned to things, and I turned to the people that had those things, and now I look back and I'm just so grateful God got me out of it. It's all him. He gets all the glory. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. And just finding Jesus and finding that balance. What a lot of people don't understand is, you get to create your balance and you have to figure out which way the scale is going to go for everything that you're doing. And then you've got to make sure you're finding time for yourself, to get out in nature, to get outside, to sit down and do something you enjoy, to rest, to take a nap, to sleep, to eat, to make sure you're getting your water, your hydration intake. There's just so many things, get a shower. This morning I woke up and before I did anything else, I went and got a dang shower. I just soaked and let that hot water, hit my face. And I just imagined just being where I wanted to be in that moment, not necessarily in the bathtub in my apartment, but I was like, yeah, I'm on an island right now and I'm traveling and I love this, shower that's in our hotel. And like, I'm just like thinking about like, where would I want to be right now if I were in a really awesome shower? What would it look like? How would it feel? And I was just imagining, and I was listening to this podcast from Abraham Hicks, and I was just like, this is so, so good. But like, what people don't understand is that like you never know if the balance you're gonna when you feel uneasy or unbalanced, it's because you're out of alignment. It's because you're off. Your magnet to where you want to go is off, to like the journey you're on. And it's not the destination that's necessarily important. That destination is there. You already know you're going to hit it, but it's the journey along the way, and so you're working toward, your first goals and your first set of goals. And if it's not aligned, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel off. And so that feeling you're always feeling, that's what that is. You're not aligned to where you want to be. And so you have to figure out what lights your fire, what gets you excited, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, and then make sure you're doing some of those things. You may not be able to do them all at once or all together or all. Some of them you may have to plan for, but like do some of the simple ones. Like for me, I love cooking for my family. So I try to make a meal at least once a day for my family. And I try to love on them through food. Like it's like um, it's part of my love language is like being a good cook and loving people. But it's not something I want to do professionally. It's just something I truly enjoy doing. And, for me also, I recently realized that I am an artist and I've been like almost dampening that flame and that desire to create. And I know better. Like I know that is what makes me the happiest is when I'm creating something. And so I want to be able to get back into the habit, into the swing of just being able to create things and have fun and truly, truly, truly just enjoy the heck out of them with my family and with people I love and care about. And so I'm going to get back into my art, back into some of my passions. And, I'm actually in the middle of writing two books. Like I decided that I can add that time in for those and discipline myself to be able to get them written, and but I'm excited about it because they inspire me. I don't even think I need the discipline when it comes to those things I truly, truly love. And I'm still working my network marketing business. I know it sounds like I'm super busy, right? But it's all like burning desires and it's taking me to my next goal. And so I feel excited for that. I feel so much gratitude knowing that I get to do all of this. So, and none of it feels overwhelming, none of it feels extra. It just feels really freaking exciting and good and fun, and it brings me so much happiness, and I feel better on the inside and the outside. And I think that I'm more attentive to my family because I'm doing those things. And like, I don't know, I feel less overwhelmed. Things are just flowing easy and effortlessly. And I'm grateful for that. And it's so crazy because I didn't expect it to do that so quickly. But the more I self assess, I'm like, yeah, that's truly what's happening. I just helped a new friend connect and get some products from my business over the weekend, and they launched this new sale, and like it was just this really neat thing how everything just aligned with the event we had, and I was just like so excited because I needed that too. Like I needed to get back into the coaching and to the routine of my products. I feel like summertime sometimes we get so caught up in everything going on with our kids being home and things. And then when our kids get back to school and that routine comes back, I feel like as moms, and I don't know if any dads too, but parents can just relate. But I feel like it's just now we're getting that balance back. We're getting that routine back where like he's up a little earlier. He's not sleeping in as much. We're getting more done. We're back to like weekend chores, like just getting, and then downtime on the weekend and resting. Like last weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend, I spent it really just helping my family and just doing all the things they needed to go. I was a busy girl. So I took some time during the week to make up and rest. And then, yesterday, we did a lot of getting at the house tidied up since we didn't get to do it a lot the weekend before. Did it throughout the week, but not as much. And so it just felt good. Like it just felt good to have a clean space again, to have it all tidied up and dusted and vacuumed and you know what I mean, swept and mopped. And oh my gosh, it just felt so good to wake up and be like, yeah, this is what the balance that you're trying to find that balance. You have to have a good perspective too. Like your mindset is genuinely so important. It's like the biggest tool you have is your mindset. And so for me, I used to like perspective. I got all the laundry done this week because I had the energy to do the washer and the dryer, but I didn't have the energy to fold it until yesterday morning. Like I'm just being transparent. I had 3 clean baskets of clothes, kids' clothes, towels, and some of mine and Sean's clothes. And I was just washing them, stuff I found in the bathroom, things like that, in the bathroom laundry and things, and just kind of catching up on laundry. And and then washing like the towels and washcloths from like, using the dishes and this and that, right? Just the normal household stuff. Well, doing all of that, and perspective was, wow, you had good energy. I'm so proud of you for getting that, so all of that laundry folded and getting the kids clothes sorted, my brain, getting the kids clothes sorted into baskets so they can take their clothes upstairs and fold them and hang them and put them away and do what they want with them. And um and then really just putting your clothes away. Like, I got my laundry put away. Sean got his laundry put away. The kids got their laundry put away. I went and got all the towels put in the upstairs, closet. It just felt good. And it's so crazy because little simple things like that people can take for granted. But when you're going, and you're so busy, um, and you've got so much life happening. I know, like, for some people, they've got little babies and toddlers and kids in different schools and different places and pick up, and like, it just gets a little crazy. So just giving yourself grace during those times. I just couldn't wake up yesterday morning and allow my clean clothes to sit in those baskets anymore, though, and that's the truth. Like, I just hit a point where I was like, I'm so grateful that I had the energy to wash them on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, right? Just getting the little things. I did a little here and a little there in between. I'm just so grateful that I could get them all washed and put in the basket. But I am so ready to have these folded and separated and put away and taken to their rightful place. And I felt that so deep. And I was like, I'm going to make sure we do that this morning. And so it's that intention. Like, and it felt good. And some people may not realize, like, I don't know if anybody else with like chronic warriors are listening in, but when you have chronic fatigue and you can have like, I have spinal cord damages to my spinal cord, from top to bottom. And so those things, it can be hard to want to like fold laundry, and like fold the towels especially. It really jacks up my shoulder blades and the muscles along my spine and my upper. And so, and my arms, like, it can make them real. I think it's this the chronic pain fatigue too. Like, I think it's part of that. And the fibro, just the whole combination. Like, I've got some shiz going on, right? That whole combination of those different things, musculoskeletal disorders and the injuries, um, that, like, when I fold a basket with like some towels in it, I feel damn good, proud of myself, because I know it's gonna hurt. I know I'm gonna have to ice myself. Um, I know though that my body needs that. And so I don't want to not do it. As hard as it is to have that little bit of pain, I don't want to not do it, because I know with things that I have going on, it's use it or lose it. Like, I have to have some sort of a workout. I have to move my body. I have to do some stairs. I have to walk a little. I have to do some stretches and exercises. I have to fold some laundry. I have to do some of these things. It's like move it or lose it, right? And so and when I realized that terminology, I realized that I need to find balance. So I've learned a lot of grace in the time. Plus, I'm not going to lie, October 6th, Megan will be 30, my oldest. I can't believe it. I'm going to be a mom to a 30-year-old. I had her, I got pregnant with her when I was 14 and a half in eighth grade. And 6 months before I graduated eighth grade, I got pregnant with her. And I'll share a podcast more about that. Plus my book. I'm going to be talking a lot about it in my book. Um, and I look back 30 years of parenting. I made a lot of mistakes. I really screwed up a lot in the beginning. Not in the very beginning. She made parenting so damn easy that parenting little kids was a breeze. It was when it became teenagers, man. Oh my Lord, when they get their hormones. I don't know how my parents put up with all of us. That I was a baby of 14. I remember going to my mom so many times and crying and just asking her and how she did it with me and apologizing over and over. I just apologized and told her how sorry I was for being such a pain in the ass kid. Oh man. But I look back and the I'm gonna have some more conversations. We're gonna do next this week. This week we'll talk more about parenting and different things. We'll talk some more about what I've learned over the years. Um, but I remember just being so afraid. I I hit a point, it didn't happen for a while. It was after I was almost killed. I'm just being transparent. After I was assaulted in 2009 and almost killed, and then it took a few months after my ex spouse was out of the home for my kids to come and share more. That was when I the fear kicked in. We were stranded from home almost 3,000 miles away, and I was in charge of three little lives. They were 5, 8, and 14, and I was just getting ready to turn 30 when it all happened. And I felt so much shame. I felt so much fear. And I was just going through so much grief from the loss of what I thought would last a lifetime. I held on to this marriage for almost 10 years and I shouldn't have. And I know God gave me my babies, and that was why I stayed the course. Plus, I learned so many lessons. And in the end, ultimately, I gained so many blessings. And so did so many other people. You know, my fears caused me to not parent the greatest with my Megan and with my niece Stephanie, because I had both of them and they were teenagers, and I was so afraid of them getting pregnant like me. Not gonna lie. I was so scared that I would be the reason why. Like it would be my fault if they got pregnant because I was the example they had. And I knew I wasn't a good example. I knew I'd already made a lot of mistakes and they had seen some of those, and I was young and dumb and going through addictions and battling my own trauma and trying to mask it. And I put on every kind of mask you could imagine to not have to allow people to even see the deep pain I was suffering with. And I thought that finding somebody that would love me and getting pregnant and having babies and like being a mom would change those feelings inside me and make me feel better. Like Megan did save my life, right? But I was really spiraling downhill when I got pregnant with her. But what really I realized was I really needed to work on myself. I wasn't giving myself the time or the love that I deserved, but I didn't love myself, so why would I do something like that? People would tell me, like I would have therapists tell me, you know, the flags that they were seeing in my spouse, and I would ignore them for fear of being alone, for fear of having to parent alone, having to do life by myself, of making more mistakes, of falling off the deep end, of falling into my addictive behaviors, just fear of wanting to, unalive myself. Like there was just a lot of fears of one of them getting hurt, seriously, like I had so many fears that I lived with. And I looked back now and there's no way I could have balance. There's no way I could have stability. There's no way I could have had the life I have today with continuing to live that pattern and that cycled behavior. And most people that are in domestic violence are in that cycled behavior and they have no idea that they are. Like, let's be truthful. Yeah, some people are like, how did you not know? Education is powerful, knowledge is power. And I didn't even know what domestic violence was. I didn't even know how to damn label until somebody said, oh, you're a domestic violence survivor. Oh, you're a DV survivor. And I thought, what the heck is that? I had no idea. And so you can't just assume that everybody should know. You can't just assume that people that they should have that knowledge, because I watched my parents fight point blank. I watched my siblings and their spouses fight. I didn't care for it necessarily, but I thought it was part of relationships. And I stayed, literally, I had moments where I had, guns held to my head, threatening to unalive myself and my child and themselves. And like, these were relationships that I sat through and stayed with and stayed the course. And I'm not talking for a little while, I stayed for years, 5+ years with partners who were mentally unstable, like very mentally unstable. And you have to realize that when you're doing that, you are also learning those habits. And so over the course since 2009, and so I'm just so blessed. I got to tell you, this is just, I'm so blessed it's been so long that I could speak my truth and my kids' truth and speak on this for others to help them. But over the course, since these years, over a decade now, I have been, and so have my children, we have unlearned those poor behaviors that were hindering us, that kept us in those cycles. Um, and the kids as adults now recognize what they want and don't want, right? And it's healthy. Like we have a home that's peaceful, that's stable, that we don't, there's no there. It's just that's just how it is. It took a lot of work on my part, especially with my traumatic brain injury, to get to this point. And the last 5 years, that's been my goal. That's been our goal as a family, is to have a harmonious family. Not saying we are perfect. Yeah, the kids, they're kids, they go back and forth, they do their shenanigans and things, but it's not a bunch of yelling and screaming, and it's not a bunch of, there's no alcohol in our home. Like, it's just such a blessing to have a healthy home and healthy environment. And we went from, I've never experienced that, to now having that. It's like that, this is our sanctuary. We protect it. It's our safe haven. It's our peace, right? And it's just such a blessing. And so being able to go from I feel like one extreme to the other, it was kind of, culture shocking a little bit for a while. My sleep patterns were disrupted. Um, my eating, like times of days we ate were disrupted. Um, Even like routines and like getting out and doing things, and a lot of things were disrupted during that transition of learning how to have peace, learning how to be peace, learning how to calm myself, learning how to show my children how to do the same, like learning how to heal, right? To rewire ourselves, to relearn things, to self-assess in a healthier way, to just be able to heal and grow the right way, the way that's good for us and it's good for others around us. It was a work in progress. It didn't happen overnight, but we are so grateful that we are where we are today. Like I am, I know they are too. I hear it and I hear them chitter chattering and talking and their dreams and like their goals and like what they're talking about. And I can tell they're excited for all the things that they have and the things that are coming, and they're full of gratitude too. And so like that's really what changes your balance is your perception and how you're seeing things and the gratitude that you're seeing it, because your attitude, we talked about this before, your attitude is everything, and that's where that perception shifts, is with your attitude shifting. And so I know just going through like all the different things and emotionally seeing unstable people and recognizing that they're unstable and that it's okay to say no to those relationships. It's okay to set healthier boundaries. It's okay to designate time, allotted time, so that you're not spending way more than too much, right? The other thing, I was just listening to the other day, a podcast, and she was saying that we don't ever really emotionally get drained like we think we do. We always constantly have lots of energy. Our cup is always constantly filled and running over. But it's the way we view it, and it's what we're saying. And so if though what's happening is you're getting out of alignment. So it's not that you're getting your energy is getting drained. It's that that person or thing does not align with your future self and goals, where you're headed, that it brings out discomfort and brings up things that aren't healthy and brings up things that aren't emotionally, and you're not feeling them attached to that goal. So that's where that disruption's coming in, is it's taking you off of the vibration and the energy to where you're headed, the goal. Like, and some people may not get that, you might get it, but it just, we'll talk more about that. But I really loved that, because when I could visually see myself sitting down and having a cup of coffee with somebody, and if the conversation isn't flowing the way that we both know we want it to flow, and it's really awkward and it's quiet and silence, and it's like there's no meaningfulness to it, like there's just no meaning to the conversation. Sometimes I get distracted and it doesn't align with my goals, and then I feel really gross about it later, and it drains me. Whereas if we're having a meaningful conversation and it's flowing, it's going good, we're drinking our coffee, time's flying, we're like, wow, time's flying by so fast. I really just enjoyed this time with you. And you know it's going to do something to catapult you toward that goal. You're going to have a burning desire to go get some work done. You're going to feel that's going to raise your vibration because it felt good, right? It was a happy place. It was a happy conversation. It was healthy conversation. Like it aligned with being where you want to be as a person. It helped you stretch and grow. Like these are things we should be paying attention to, because if the ones that aren't helping us stretch and grow and they're not bringing us that joy and that happiness, we need to limit the time with them. And we need to make sure we're setting those healthy boundaries so that way we can go and spend the quality time building that healthy environment for ourselves if we have to, or with other people. And you don't have to feel guilty about that. It's important that you understand there should be zero shame or doubt or guilt. You shouldn't feel bad because you chose to be a healthier version of yourself. What your goal is to just pray that that person follows suit and does that for themselves too. Pray that they can align themselves to be a healthier version of themselves too. And so if you're speaking that over somebody else, they're speaking it over, themselves. They're praying for that too, right? They just don't know how. So just pray that God gives them what they need. And then maybe the next conversation you have, you can bring a little something, something up. Talk a little bit about frequency, talk a little bit about um feelings. Like people are so afraid about feelings because they don't realize that they're such a powerful gift. It's one of the highest faculties that you can be blessed with. And we should be paying attention to our feelings and our emotions. They are telling us something. They're not just there by coincidence. They're not just there just because. There's a reason why they're there. And so it's sometimes it's rooted not even in the situation that you're in or the question being asked or any of that stuff. It's literally a deeper, deeper root seated from probably when you were a child. And so we'll dive more into that another time too. That's a whole nother podcast session or three. But I hope this helps somebody today. I am going to hop off here and finish drinking this coffee. Talk to you guys soon.